Commander Legends previews have begun in earnest, and that means two things. The return of us covering the daily releases of cards, and the return of the music meme. Oh, God!
We have official Commander Legends spoilers today. These are not leaks. We're allowed to look at them, and you don't have to feel, You don't have to feel awful about watching this video. It starts right now.
Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below.
For a limited time only, if you join the Patreon at any level, you will receive a holographic Jake and Joel Our Magic logo sticker. Link in the description below.
Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. We have got day one of our Commander Legends previews. They have begun and we are excited, so we're going to get right into it. But first, if you would, go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you like our stuff by the end of this video. It really helps us out.
It's the best way to support the channel with just the click of a button, and we are trying to hit 10K by the end of 2020. It has been a crazy year. Help us get to 10K by clicking subscribe. Let's get into it.
So Jake, here we are, day one. These are the last ones that we saw back in August. Let's scroll up. New cards, and they are specifically Commander Legends. If you can't tell, I'm really hyped about this. Let's see what we've got. First thing up, Jake, we've got a Legendary Kraken here that's 8 mana, uncommon 6/8, got partner, and it's blue. When it enters the battlefield or whenever you cast a spell with CMC 6 or greater, you may return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand.
Yeah, pretty sweet card. We should mention we're going to see a lot of cards at different rarities that have partner, because this set was designed to be a draftable commander experience. The way that Wizards of the Coast has dealt with that obstacle is by creating a lot of different partners. That way you should have no problem mixing and matching and hopefully finding something that synergizes. Yeah, pretty cool card.
It's really high CMC tribal kind of thing. So
yeah,
if you can find a partner by the end of previews or one that already exists that's got green in it, that's probably really going to help you with this. You know, try and get a ramp thing going. Along with those, in the Forbes article with which this card was previewed, we saw a bunch of spells that were higher than CMC 6. Enters the battlefield, scry 2/4/4 flyer for 6. Fine. This one though, Jake, this card is one of the most spoken about cards today. Let's go through it real fast. Mnemonic Deluge, 6 and 3 blue, so 9 mana sorcery. Exile target instant or sorcery from a graveyard. Copy that card 3 times. You may cast the copies without paying their mana costs. Exile Mnemonic Deluge. This has got the potential to be nutty. Honestly, for me, this kind of says it should say 9 mana you win the game, really. And it, you know, at mythic rarity, this power level,
does depend. It does depend on what you have on the board and what you can do, but I see this mostly being a big toolbox card, because let's focus on the words graveyard. It doesn't have to be yours. It could be somebody else's. It really reads to me and looks like an oh shit button more than anything else. It's just kind of like, can I see your graveyard? Can I see your graveyard? Can I see your graveyard? What are we going to do with this? Let us know what kind of degenerate combos you could do with Mnemonic Deluge, and go ahead and put that in the comments.
Yeah,
I can't wait to read about them.
There's got to be like an 8 or 9, something ridiculous CMC instant or sorcery that if you like run this with blue, with deeper mill blue strategies or some kind of black strategy that's seeking cards and putting them in your graveyard, cast this. Oh my gosh, what if you're able
it's
to
really
copy this
situational
spell?
Because if you target something like a Patriarch's Bidding and you happen to be playing against a bunch of different tribal decks, then you can go get all of the different tribes. It's a really interesting card. You know, I think that we'll see some crazy stuff happen with it. And I do need to check Patriarch's Bidding to make sure that it's not your graveyard and it's all graveyards. But yeah, there's a lot of different stuff that I can think about with this card. It seems very strong.
Yeah, and it's a cool indication, I think, on day one of previews for where this set is going to take our brewing. We're going to have to really look at some cool stuff. Past those, we got Interpret the Signs, 6-cost sorcery, scry 3, reveal the top, draw cards equal to the card's converted mana cost. Cool. Confiscate, reprint, 6 mana. enchant permanent you control, enchanted permanent, cool. Prying Eyes we've seen before, draw 4, discard 2. Next up, we've got Krark the Thumbless, Jake. 1 red, 1 other for a legendary goblin wizard. 2/2, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, return that spell to its owner's hand. If you win the flip, copy the spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy with partner for 2 mana. So we've got a little bit of like full meme fulfillment here with Krark
really
being an actual card now and him being the Thumbless. But then past that, you've got this, what I think is a wildly powerful 2-cost commander.
Yeah, I think it's very, very strong. And when you have, gosh, I don't know the name of the card, but the commander that lets you reflip coins.
Yeah.
Saying this isn't a commander, but just say you build it into that deck, and I forget the name of that deck. But you know from Battle Bond what I'm talking about. Yeah, very, very, very strong. Even if you're like have something that's going to allow you to get something off of the cast, an effect that says simply from casting if you're going to get an effect, then whether or not you're reverberating the card that you're casting doesn't really matter because you're getting something off the cast. So say it's like a draw off the cast or anything like that. Yeah, it's a pretty strong commander. I think it's very cool.
Yeah, I really want to build like a all-in win or
I love
lose
that art.
kind of like, you know, I might burn myself, but I might also double all my spells. High risk, high reward kind of deck. I can't wait to build that there. Next up, we've got Tevesh Szat, Doom of Fools. Now, this is a card that was leaked early, but now we've got the actual version of it. And I'm fairly impressed, Jake, especially with a commander that can be, or a planeswalker that can be a commander. Black, 4 other for a 4 loyalty walker, +2 to create 2 0/1s, +1, you can sacrifice a creature or walker. If you do, draw 2 cards. Then draw another card if the sacrifice permanent was a commander. And that -10 is ridiculous. Gain control of all commanders. Put all commanders from the command zone onto the battlefield under your control. This card could be nutty.
Yeah, I think it's good whether or not it's your commander. Let's just talk about the fact that it's +2, brings it up to 6 loyalty right out the gate, and creates 2 blockers. 2 cards, or 2 creatures that...
can protect it.
No downside. They're not going to get sacrificed at the end of turn or anything like that. It's just perfect fodder for any kind of sacrifice engine. Yeah, it's very strong. And that -10, it looks like it's hard to get to.
Sure.
But when you're going up 2 loyalty every time and creating 2 blockers, yeah, I don't see that as unattainable at all. I think this card is extremely strong. And as far as from a drafting and limited experience,
ridiculous.
Instant. I mean, it's even splashable.
Right.
It's not even 2 black for this effect.
Exactly.
You can put this guy into anything with black. Crazy card.
So it comes into the battlefield, it goes up to 6, that's turn 1. On turn 2, it would go up to 8 if you're just using the creature tokens. On turn 3, it would go up to 10, and then so on your turn 4, if you're not doing any sort of extra turns or proliferate shenanigans, turn 4, after you've played this card, if turn 1 is... So turn 3, really, after you've played this card, if turn 0 is the turn you play it, you could activate that ultimate if interaction hasn't happened. Yeah, it's like you said.
And because of the way that this is, the sequencing of this, that -10 would happen. Tevesh would go to the yard, correct? Or to the command zone. So you would gain control of all commanders, period. And then it says put all commanders from the command zone onto the battlefield under your control. So if you -10, doesn't he go to your command zone and you get him right back?
Judge, if you're watching, please let us know in the comments if Jake's understanding of this is correct. That looks correct to me. That seems
I don't
more
see why
broken
but
because I hadn't considered it that way. So
Yeah.
I'm even more like, oh my gosh, this card could be a house.
Essentially, you would sack it with the -10, you would get it back, and then you'd be able to +2 it again, or you'd be able to +1 it. And if you're sacrificing a commander, one of the commanders that you just took control of, you'll be drawing 3
That's
cards
got to
for
be
sacrifice.
it, Jake. You've got to be absolutely right about that.
Because that's how it gets really, really degenerate very quickly. And that's where it's like, you know, I'm going to take all the commanders, but this one I don't care about, and we're just going to sack it to draw 3 cards. So what we have here is we have a card that creates creatures. We have a card that draws all the cards that you need. I mean, it's got everything built in. It's got the creature engine, the draw engine.
It's a free sack outlet, which is huge.
It's a free sack outlet. It is, yeah, dude. I mean, the only thing about it being a free sack outlet is that, you can't do that at instant speed like a normal sack outlet. But still, yeah, very strong card. I think it's great. Even just having a sack outlet built into a commander is really cool. And it can be your partner.
I mean, a lot of the Protean Hulk combos in CEDH go and get Viscera Seer so that they can sack whatever they need at instant speed. Just the fact that it can sack is just, sprinkles on the icing on top of the cake. That this card just seems like an absolute house.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I think I can run it independently of any kind of strategy, to be honest. If I'm just looking for a good, solid black card to put into a commander deck as just like a placeholder, this is a nice 5 mana. You can ramp into it early when you're playing stuff like Soul Ring, Mana Crypt. I mean, you could have this out as early as turn 2 in some situations.
Yeah.
So you're just like, all right, get the Thralls going early. This card is just going to win the game. Just make sure you keep drawing cards. As soon as a card has net more than one card, it has replaced itself.
That's what
and
I'm saying.
That card is just like it's all ready to go. It's great. Following up on that, commander, it says that how do you pronounce this, Shoals?
I've been saying Zat, just like
Zat's Will.
Silent S.
Yeah, sure. Zat's Will, 1 black, 4 other, instant. Choose one. If you control a commander as you cast this spell, you may choose both. Each opponent sacrifices a creature they control with the greatest power, and or exile all cards from all opponents' graveyards, then create X01 black Thrall, creature tokens where X is the greatest power among creature cards exiled this way. Absolutely brutal card. I think it's great.
I love this card.
I love the art. The art is just terrifying. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, they did a really good job with that card. Here it is, Jake, Vampiric Tutor. I'm going to pop over to our MTG stocks page for Vampiric Tutor to look at where this card has been. Average, we're looking at 113. Foily is going to be 230. We didn't have like extended variants or anything. For Eternal Masters, if I'm not mistaken, Jake, it was this version and it was the foil version. So now with this card, as you can see here, we're not only going to have borderless, but we're going to have foil borderless obtainable through some means.
Yeah, and this is the very cool Eternal Masters art that we got when that set came out. I think it's it's just an amazing card. It's easily, in my opinion, the best tutor. Just the fact that it's instant speed, you do it at your opponent's EOT, the card goes on top, you draw it at the beginning of your turn. Grab any card you want, whether it's a land, if you need to fix your mana problems. It's just easily my favorite tutor. It's very, 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 very strong.
So this is, of course, the Eternal Masters version here. Probably cheapest available. I've seen some people say in the comments that we're not looking necessarily at the cheapest available printing on these MTG stocks pages.
Yeah, just keep in mind that on these stocks pages, it's going to be... Yeah, and you could even go over, if we want to show people right now, if you want to go over to eBay and just do price plus shipping lowest first, and I'm sure there's some of you right now that are watching the video that are asking this question, are we still going to get Imperial Seal? I would say this is the nail in the coffin as far as that goes. We are not going to be seeing Imperial Seal in the set, as we do see our 1 mana cost instant speed, honestly best in slot tutor. You are most likely looking at the chase card of the set, the absolute best possible thing that you'll be able to open as far as a foil borderless version of a card.
Let's jump over to eBay real fast. So the first one we've got here is the DCI Judge foil. It's very hard to find. We're just on price plus shipping lowest first buy it now on eBay. Looking at what down here, 180, 179.
All right, so there's the very first EMA we see is from Taiwan. Let's see if we can find one that's actually in the US, as far as like a lot of people like to buy from sellers inside the country. It's going to make it easier to get that card. So we do see one here, foil, excellent condition, and then we do see one below for near mint, $230. And when it is price plus shipping lowest first like this, that is the lowest price you're going to find on eBay. So big, huge, rare card. Foil is coming out. It's going to be an extended art this time. The easiest spot to find that is going to be in the Commander Legends Collector Booster Box.
Vampiric Tutors are going to command a very high price. We got Sphinx of the Second Sun today, 2 blue, 6 other Sphinx, flying 6/6. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you get an additional beginning phase after this phase. Oh my goodness, there's so many phases on this card. You get this effect the turn it comes into play, Jake. This is the kind of card that I know that there's a smart person out there who's going to abuse the hell out of this card.
Yeah, thank God it costs 8 mana, because I already see this causing a lot of headaches.
I mean, for Reanimator decks, does this not become like a huge value target for
I mean,
early
just like
reanimation?
having another phase. I mean, sure, you don't get another attack step, but you get another main phase, essentially. I mean, it's like, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's...
What an effect. I can't believe we're reading that today.
Yeah, exactly. This is not something I was expecting to see, but...
He watches in silence as the shadows shift, bringing Amonkhet ever nearer to the hour of revelation.
We got a reprint of Supreme Verdict. We're familiar with this card. It's a choice card that lets you draw some stuff or
it's
counter
Supreme
a
Will.
thing.
Supreme Will.
Yeah, Supreme Will. Yep, sorry, thank you. You're absolutely
Yep.
right. We got this card, Nimrus Oona's Trickster. It's a legendary creature that I'm excited about.
New Fairy Knight.
And look, this card is going to be so annoying to play against. I already know. 1 black, 1 blue, 3 other for a flash flying 1/6 Fairy Knight, like you said. Whenever you cast your first spell during each of your opponent's turns, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of those cards into your hand and the other into your graveyard. I mean, this seems like it could be a house, Jake. I'm very excited for this card. Not to play against it, but to play with it.
You know what's really interesting about this card is it gives value to cards in EDH that I wouldn't normally play, which are cards like Opt or Radical Idea or just simple little cantrips that I would never ever consider playing in EDH have now become a lot better. If you're playing this with like stuff like Brainstorm, Value Town, man, just make sure you're doing stuff on your opponent's turn and you're going to be getting a lot of velocity, a lot of card draw. It's very good, and I do agree with you. I think it's very annoying.
Well, look at
and I like that it's riding a beetle.
Yeah.
Is that a giant stag beetle?
Or it's a very regular sized stag beetle and a very tiny fairy knight.
Fill your hand up with removal.
Right.
And just play reactive removal spells and make sure to draw cards whenever you cast removal. I mean, yeah, the possibilities with this card are great.
It's kind of tough because it actually does open up the door to like a hard control build, because cards like Counterspell now say counter target spell, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of those cards into your hand and the other into your graveyard, which is nuts, just nutball change. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of builds come out of Oona's Trickster and see if we've got a hard control card. Siani, Eye of the Storm, is another uncommon legend we saw today. A blue and 3 other for a 3/2 flying Djinn Monk. Whenever Siani attacks, scry X, where X is the number of attacking creatures with flying. So a cool little partner. It seems like a more humble build. You know, you're scrying off of attack triggers of a specific type of creature. So it's pretty narrow. You know,
it's great for limited. It's really like if you're trying to get into blue and you're like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and pick up a Siani. That way I'm able to, jump in there and play these blue cards. I think, you're going to see a lot of cards in these spoilers over the next few days that seem a little bit lackluster, but just remember that a lot of these were designed around a limited experience, and so not every single legendary creature is going to be a powerhouse. Siren Stormtamer reprint from Ixalan, Lyasa, Shroud of Dusk, 1 black, 2 white, 2 other, legendary creature Angel for 5/5. Rather than pay 2 for each previous time you've cast a spell from the command zone this game, pay 2 life that many times. Flying lifelink. Whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 2 life.
That's really the only reaction I can have, is my eyes get big and I look around the room. This is one of the ones I'm most hyped on from day one of previews. This is going to be one of the first 3-way videos I make. Spoiler alert. I have to make this deck because it is so Orzhov, Life Drain. It just represents so much.
It's a commander breaker too, dude. It's just like a rule breaker.
You remember the card from back in the day where it was like you may pay 4 Bant plus 1 instead of paying the commander cost to play this out of the command zone. This card has shades of that for me. I think I like it so much, Jake, because I've told this story a couple times on the channel. The first big card that I ever pulled out of a booster pack was Desolation Angel. And so from then on, I've had this deep fascination for fallen angel as a character archetype in MTG. And so this one is absolutely calling my name. You've got cards like Console of Allocation that it just sits right alongside and is like, if your opponents do anything, we're taxing them life just to do that. You start putting some extort effects on here. You start putting some permission-based stuff, like all your artifacts and creatures come into play tapped, stuff like that. And you have got a very permission-based Orzhov build that... I mean, if you run things, if you can just run so many cool things that make your opponents disincentivized to attack you or cast things against you. But it also puts a big target on your head. Lyasa, Shroud of the Dusk, or Lyasa, or Lyasa. I'm not really sure how to pronounce this name. Lyasa, Shroud of Dusk. It's just, I love this card, and I was super excited to see it today.
Yeah, the foil of it is going to be very pretty, and I do really like the watermark on whatever version this is. This must be some sort of showcase variant or something.
Anyway, super cool legendary angel. Very excited for that. We're gonna need a translation on this one. Jake, we've got the Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro.
Creature Pirate Spirit. The Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro can't be blocked by creatures with toughness 3 or greater. Whenever the Ghost of Ramirez de Pietro deals combat damage to a player, choose up to 1 card in a graveyard that has been discarded or milled this turn. Put that card into its owner's hand. Partner 2/3.
It's a strange card, but I think that it will become more clear once we see more of what the themes are going to be in black and blue for this limited environment. Dealing combat damage to a player, choose up to 1 card in a graveyard that's been discarded or milled this turn. It doesn't have the built-in ability to make your opponents discard or mill anything, so you're going to want to make sure that you have a partner that plays well with this ability. But, I mean... we've already seen that commanders that make this like can't be blocked by, 1 power creatures you control can't be blocked. Creatures with, the toughnesses can't be blocked like on Ramirez here. This is a kind of strategy that's like go all the way under can't be blocked blue strategy. It works. We've seen it before.
Yeah, with like Skulk and effects like that. And then we see a little bit more, little limited card here.
Reprint.
Not a bad card.
Yeah, Warden of Evo Sile's a reprint. We've got a reprint of Thorn of the Black Rose, and then we've got 2 new cards, Seraphic Greatsword and Phyrexian Triniform. Seraphic Greatsword, 1 white, 1 other. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, and when the creature that's equipped to it attacks the player with the most life or tied for the most life, you create a 4/4 creature token, flying, that's tapped and attacking that player. This is going to become a format equipment staple, dude. People are going to love this card.
Yeah, because it's a lot more easy to get online than like something like Moonsilver Spear or something like that. I think this is a very, very, very strong card. Yeah, that equip 4 just for the +2/+2 isn't awful. But yeah, the fact that this is a great token generator, we just made this video about great token generators, and I would have included this card as far as it's a sticky artifact, it's making 4/4 white angel creature tokens. It's a political card as well, because it might come down to, I need a creature, we need to be able to block this thing, I need you to let me swing through and hit you so that I can get a creature and we can maybe answer this. It's a fun card. I think it's a hell of a card.
Cards
honestly.
like this, equipped to Hero of Bladehold, swinging, creating creatures, having the battle cry, also creating a 4/4 that's tapped and attacking. And then Jake, look at this mythic artifact creature here.
9 for a 9/9 artifact creature Golem. Whenever Phyrexian Triniform dies, create 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature tokens on core 12. Exile this card from your graveyard. For each opponent, create a token copy that attacks that opponent this turn if able. They gain haste. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. Activate only as a sorcery. So it does things now, it does things later, it does things when it dies.
Yeah,
what
this
a card,
seems bonkers. So it's going to die and leave 3/3/3s behind. Then you encore it back as a 9/9 attack. It dies. It's going to create 3/3/3s when it dies. This seems like a very, very cool card in an artifact strategy. It seems like a very cool card if you're looking at a token strategy. It can go into any deck. It is fully colorless.
For each opponent, create a token that...
For each opponent. God,
create a token copy that attacks that opponent this turn if able. They gain haste. So for each opponent, you're creating Phyrexian Triniform that dies at the end and leaves behind 3/3/3s. Let's go ahead and move on to the next card. That is one hell of a card, though.
Yeah, it's absolutely nutty. Here with the Mask, it's a reprint, Mask of Memory. 2 cost. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you can draw 2 cards. If you do, discard a card. It's a great effect. Obviously, it's good. You know, it's a $2 uncommon that's had multiple printings. So this is one of those kind of uncommon cards that would like creep up if they don't reprint it, $5-10, and you're like, that uncommon is a $5 or $10 card. Well, yeah, it's a 2 cost, 1 equipped. If it's dealing damage or drawing cards, it does a lot. So it's a cool reprint to see. We've also got this card here. It is a reprint as well, Mindless Automaton. We've got it in Eternal Masters, Tempest Remastered, and it's a low value card, obviously.
It's a fine card.
Yeah, it's fine. It's nice to get a reprint. This one's got some value to it though. Xenoghost, God of Revels. It's a very popular card for Commander. As you can see here, we've got a $43 foil of this card, $15-16 on average just to acquire. But
so expect a big drop in price once this set is out and this card is being opened in earnest. But just know, like, from an EDH standpoint, people really love these legendary enchantment creature gods because they are indestructible. They're very difficult to deal with. They're enchantments, so the things that you can do to deal with them are very narrow as well. Oftentimes with one of these, you end up having to chaos warp it, or like hopefully you can exile it from the game, as far as like exile target enchantment and that kind of thing. But they are very, very, very powerful cards and have a lot of EDH desirability.
Yeah, generally the abilities on them are really good too. I would say the majority of the legendary gods have relevant abilities versus a minority that don't. This one is also very good. Xenoghost is in a couple of very big-time powerful combos. Not quite CDH, maybe a little bit of playability there for the combos, but I know with like a card like Prosh, which I've dropped the deck tech on the channel, go and check it out. This leads toward, if you've got all the pieces set up, Prosh and then Xenoghost on the battlefield, with no interaction, you can wipe out all your opponents in one big turn. So, you know, that is a powerful card. It's a good mythic reprint. These are the kind of cards I was expecting to see in this set. These cards that have started kind of slowly creeping up above $20 that are very widely played Commander cards. Reprinting those in this set is a huge thing to do. Jake, how about an artifact creature that can go into any Commander deck that's just a 7/7 that cascades down from 8?
Yeah, I think it's a nice casual fun card.
Yeah,
I think it's it's just, again, in limited in the 4-person pod, because I'm trying to think about it from that standpoint. Yeah, a card like that probably has some nice little go wide built into it. You know, if you've built things well, hopefully you're going to get your 7/7 and like cascade into some other nice big thing as well.
Right. We've got a reprint of Briarblade Adept. Excuse me, it's got Encore. Creatures are getting -1 when it attacks. Here's Siani, we've seen down below. Then we've got Blade Griff Prototype. And Jake, you mentioned politics in cards earlier. This is one of the most political cards I've seen previewed so far. 5 mana 3/2 flyer. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, destroy target non-land permanent of that player's choice that one of your opponents controls. So it's like, Jake, Andrew over there is really starting to get out of hand. I'm going to attack you with my prototype. You have to take it, but then you can destroy any non-land permanent of theirs that you choose.
Yeah, and what I like about it is you can set up a deal with your opponent and then absolutely betray them as well.
That's also true.
You know, you can set up a deal to destroy something of that opponent that they are going to destroy you with, but then all of a sudden, you know, I'm saying, hey, I'm just going to destroy your little dinky this, and then all of a sudden you can send them back over. Yeah, I love political cards because they make the game interesting, and a lot of people don't like.
Am I reading that correctly? It says destroy target non-land permanent of that player's choice that one of your opponents controls. So it can't destroy anything of the person attacking with prototype because it has to be one of your opponents.
No, yeah, of course. No, you can't.
Did I misunderstand
No,
you?
I could
Sorry.
set up. No, what I'm saying is, say the prototype is yours,
Yeah.
and you say, Jake, I need to attack you, and you need to destroy this thing.
Yeah.
And I could say to you, yeah, sure, you can attack me, but then I don't have to follow through with the thing that I said.
What you're going to
I
be
was going to
targeting.
destroy.
I see.
I could just destroy something else and then set up another political deal with somebody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a fun card and it's interesting, and politics are part of MTG. It's sometimes the person who just sits under the radar ends up winning the game, and sometimes the person with the biggest mouth may not have had the biggest deck, but maybe they get destroyed right out the gate. So it's a fun card, and I like to see Wizards of the Coast making choices like this because it does make the game more fun.
Absolutely. Politics is a sub-theme that I'll always take more support for, and it's nice when that support comes in the form of a colorless card so that it can go really into any deck. Past that, we've got this Rebek Architect of Ascension, 4 mana for a 3/4. Artifacts you control have protection from each CMC among artifacts you control, so that can get really fun to build around. Obviously uncommon, it's a partnered 3/4. Any deck, I think we had a Silas was an artifact based partner in the past. Having that as a potential backup so that all of your artifacts have protection from CMCs that you have in artifacts on your side, that could be actually pretty brutal for an uncommon commander.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. Again, white is tough, but that partner does open things up quite a bit. If you need that side of the card, bring out Rebek and see if that can get things done. We also see, before we talk about Vial Smasher, we see Marble Diamond here, which is going to be a reprint. And I would expect, if we're getting Marble Diamond, then I would expect us to get Moss and all of the other diamonds.
Yeah.
All of the other, I don't know if it's diamonds, but this is part of a cycle, and I would expect us to get all the colors.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And then we also see a reprint of the partner commanders that we've seen before in Vial Smasher the Fierce. Again, this is a cool one because it was only in the one printing. All of these partners that are played, and Vial Smasher was definitely played, have risen in price over time, and they need a reprint. Having it here in all the multiple treatments that we're going to
and so
get.
This will be the etched foiling possibility.
Yeah,
here. This is
for
cool.
sure. Yep, it's a cool card. That's what we've got so far for Monday, October 26th. Let's close that book. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you liked the video. We are going to be covering these daily. It's a lot of work, but we love doing it. These preview seasons are nuts, and we're very excited about the cards that we are going to see in Commander Legends.
What card are you most excited about? Let us know in the comments below if you have some silly combo. Again, I want to know about Mnemonic Deluge, or however you pronounce that word. I hate saying that word. Mnemonic?
No, the M is silent. Mnemonic. It's a mnemonic device.
Mnemonic.
Yeah, just
Mnemonic
straight up.
Deluge.
Anyway, we're going to continue working on our pronunciations of cards, and until then, we will catch you later. I'm tapped out.